I'm Dennis Mallory. This is my beautiful wife Lenore, and we're down here just moved out of Reno, Nevada area. So, well, when we first came here, we had to spend our first week with Myra in Panama City and getting our visa applications and the rest. And then we had the absolute joy that made our life so much easier, since my wife thought she landed in heaven, that we actually rented at Zen Gardens from Jackie with it, and had one of the most beautiful places for the first several months while we were in Panama. I think she thought she woke up in paradise.
Oh, I knew I did.
First few months.
The first day that we drove into that driveway and I got out, I literally teared up, because it hit me that this beautiful place is my home. And I just love it here, from the mountains to the beaches.
When we decided to start looking around for where we wanted to permanently be, we had come down on a couple of trips to begin with and traveled all over Panama, a story of its own. But we both had the feeling that though we were open-minded, we both loved the beach and wanted to be near the ocean all the way around. So we turned around and started taking trips the first couple of months down to the Azuero Peninsula, Las Tablas, Chitre area, Pedicee, Playa Venao, and other places. And we just ended up finding this kind of a very unique situation in Boca Chica here that just turned out to be the absolute most beautiful thing we could have ever hoped for. Buying our house in Panama was very unique. We took several trips, as I mentioned. We went down the first time, and as we were passing through to the Azuero Peninsula, we had seen an ad on the web, and we called up the local people here in this area, again in Boca Chica, and they showed us a place, but the place had a bid on it. So we kind of passed. She said you could place a secondary bid. We passed and went on to the Azuero, almost bought a house down in Playa Venao. Decided for multiple reasons that wasn't the best fit. We came back, and a month later we were going back down to the Azuero Peninsula, and we turned around and just happened to call the gal back to say, you know, anything came up or anything to show us. They took us out to see on Boca Brava, the real close island here, some brand new homes that were being built, and they were beautiful. They're close together. It just really wasn't quite us, and as she said, in 10 years we didn't want to be hauling everything up a boat ramp every day all the way up to the houses that were up at the top of the hill. So our lady that was here smiled like crazy and turned around and said, well, we got a place to show you. And the rest is kind of history. They brought us here to a house that looked a lot different than it does right now in the year that we've been here. But it has turned out to be just the absolute best thing we could have hoped for all the way around.
We moved into this house almost exactly a year ago. We closed on the house on August 20th of 2018. And immediately this guy went to work clearing, I think it's at this point about 60 truckloads of debris and dead branches and things that just needed to be cleared away so that we could even see the street from the house, because this is more a jungle property. And
definitely was when we moved in.
Yes, yes.
All my life I had told myself, I've traveled for a living all my life, and I've lived all over the United States, 14 states and the rest. And when Lenore and I met up, I told her even at that time when we first got together that, you know, be prepared. When I retire, I don't want to live in the United States. I still want an adventure. We didn't want to be sedate and have a retirement that you just kind of fall asleep into and just get into a rut. So we wanted to keep our lives full of new adventures and excitement. We definitely have had that with Panama all the way around.
absolutely.
We spent about, I was on the forums, the expat forums, for about 5 years, just kind of doing research on the different countries and kind of looking at what were the best options, you know, cost of living, all the different pieces. And originally Costa Rica looked great, and then everything we heard and read and got confirmed once we got here from many people who had lived in Costa Rica, the prices there have just gone astronomical compared to what they used to be. We came down here for a couple of trips. The first time we drove 1,800 miles on our own throughout Panama from one end to the other. No GPS, no Google Translate, no help with Spanish. We had the adventure of our lives in every way whatsoever, and still we have decided we have just loved it here in the country, the people, everything. It has just been a beautiful thing for us, and we just figured this was our home.
Okay, the neighborhood we live in is a gated community outside of Boca Chica, near Gavia Beach, Hermosa Beach. All the playas are out this road. And at the end of this particular road is a beautiful place called Estana Rincon Beach Estates. And we have an absolutely beautiful, pristine beach there's hardly ever anyone there except myself and the crew I put together to go swimming or walking on the beach. And it's a very nice international blend of people. We have South Africans, we have Canadians, and of course Americans. If I missed anybody, we have visitors from Russia, the UK.
All over the place.
And
not to mention all the local Panamanians who are phenomenally excellent people. I don't know, we've got a lot of friends that we've made here with the locals, as well as the Nove as well too, that work here as well. Just everybody. It's an extremely good community. Boca Chica itself is a very small fishing community in its own way. I mean, this is considered the breadbasket area of the fishing canal. There are about 30 islands off the local area here. They do all the whale watching, snorkeling, and all the other pieces here. But Boca Chica is about 5 kilometers down the road. We're set off on what I really believe are some of the most beautiful beaches in all of Panama right here. It has been a community that we love dearly. A lot of the people are only here part of the year, rent out their homes while they're back home during the winter months or whatever else. But it's just been, everything we found here has been just perfect. I mean, the people have been great, good friends, good people, plenty of social life, even for a small community.
So when you're driving around our little community here, it's like living in a wildlife preserve. We have howler monkeys, troops of capuchin monkeys, the quadrimundi, iguanas, and it's absolutely, every turn is another vista of something beautiful that's growing or blooming or running around, and sometimes you just can't believe what you're seeing. This is real. Parrots, big green parrots as big as my arm, just right there. Or we have a little squirrel monkey, one squirrel monkey in the whole community, and he comes and visits the yard from time to time, and it's always a treat when we notice he's there.
I was looking up ahead to see if he was going to drop anything on us, because every now and then he likes to play games with us. So. Well, I think our biggest concerns overall coming down was, number one, the language is an issue. I don't think it's the biggest thing in the world. You can live in many of the communities here in Panama and get fine on just English if you want to. I think you have a much more enriching time if you take the time to learn enough Spanish to talk with the locals. Like I said, they've become friends and people that we say hi to all the time. I know we'll have better relationships with them as we learn a little more Spanish. But they smile broadly when you really try to communicate with them, and are helpful in every way whatsoever. I don't know, I'm very impressed. They are very welcoming and warm people, and as long as you show them respect, they give it back full force and then some. So moving into a new place, and then the other concern I had was whether or not there was enough social life in our small community area here for Lenore in particular. And as she could attest to, there is every bit of a social life that you may want here, depending upon how active you want to be. The number of people around, the number of activities that are going on, and the get-togethers. There are local places that people get to and gather on the weekends. A beautiful new hotel here that they do quite a bit to try and get this community together on a semi-frequent basis as well too. So
there are happy hours. There are gatherings. We just had a plant exchange last week where everybody brought plants from their yards and exchanged them, and we had a big barbecue, and just there's always something. Or if you don't want to do anything, that's an option too.
That's what the beach is for.
I enjoy living in Panama for the diversity of culture that we're experiencing here, the people, and I'm a people person. I've never met a stranger. I talk to people in the airports, at the embassy, it's just, everyone's so welcoming and wonderful, and if I only am able to speak a little Spanish, they encourage me to keep it up, or break into, can I practice my English with you? So I think that's the best thing for me, is the interactions with all the people from all over the world.
This home is much more than we dreamed that we'd probably be able to afford here, and especially with the gorgeous beach behind us. A beautiful 3-bedroom, 3-bath house, and we just got lucky. It was the gentleman, he owned 3 homes, and this was his weekend home, where he turned around and used this just to come down and grab his kayak and go kayaking out to the islands right here. So he was in a position where he's building a beautiful new home, and things worked out, and just as Jackie had suggested, we offered him 0 financing, and he was able to do it without a problem, and things have worked out just beautifully. He is a great man too. I want to give him kudos as well, but a good friend even today. So our worst experience probably to date has been, we wanted to make sure that we had a vehicle when we moved to Panama so that we had something we could immediately get around in. We're pretty self-reliant. We also knew we wanted to be able to explore and go look for homes. So over the internet, we had found a truck, and we turned around and arranged for an inspector to look at the truck and turn around and inspect it for us from the seller, a private seller. We went through the whole process. We came here, we went through multiple trips down to the registry to get the truck transferred, and it was not until the very last day when the truck was in my name that the guy told me that he and the inspector were very good friends. Shortly thereafter, we ran into major problems, and I should have been a little more cautious, but basically we had the chassis on the truck was rotted out from having lived down near the beach area for many years, and we had to replace the entire chassis on the truck. That was painful, so it did take a while, and we had to recover from that one for a bit. Our average expenses for the month, and I'll answer this mostly because I pay most of the bills. Our cell phones run us $23 a piece per month. We have to go in with Claro and pay it. We just pay it months in advance with them in David. Our utility bills here range. We've never gone over our water allotment here, which in this establishment is now it's $35 a month for water for a flat amount. If we go over that, then they charge us a surcharge, but we've not gone over that ourselves. Electric is the one that fluctuates, and that is because down here in the beach area you will get much more heat and humidity as well, especially during the dry season. This past dry season was an extra month longer than normal, and there was a time there that our electric bill was running up to about $220, $250 a month. That was only for a month or two. Typical right now, it's around $70 to $80 a month during this time of the year for the electric, because you're not running the air conditioner so much.
Now, I do have something to add to that. Those high monthly bills were at a time when we were trying to run a malfunctioning air conditioner.
We did replace
now
with a brand
that we've
new unit.
replaced it with a new efficient unit, we've seen, I mean, that thing can do the entire house, one unit.
Our cost of living has drastically decreased from two aspects. The two biggest areas that we've seen it, one is housing. Again, as Lenore mentioned, we could have never purchased a home of this size near this beautiful of a beach for the kind of money that we're here. And we should shortly have this house paid off, so that'll make us feel better as well too. The other major change has been medical care here is exceptional and at a minimal price. Lenore's really been the only one that's gone in, but for a basic clinic visit for rash and a shot for steroids and the rest of it was $1.10, and that was with an hour with the doctor. And when she did have to see a neurologist, an actual specialty doctor in David, he got her in within 2 days, then saw her again the next day for another hour, ran an EKG test and the rest of it for a full-blooded neurologist, and the entire bill was only $150. That's, I'm going to guess, at a minimum $5,000 in the United States. And that was without any insurance, anything else. We just came in off the street. We do have catastrophic health insurance that we have picked up in case something major happened, but overall we're relying on the Panamanian health. And the doctors in here, they care very much and they do their best to take care of you, and they actually spend time with you. Well, we just got back from our first trip back to the United States. We went and spent a little over 2 weeks with family and friends and got more paperwork updated for Lenore's visa process. We both looked at each other at the end of it and realized that we really, other than the family and friends, the only thing, especially with the work I do around here, that we truly miss would be a great Home Depot or Lowe's. Anyone who has done shopping for anything on home improvement in David, you know that you end up going to 4 to 5 different stores hoping to find what you're looking for at any given location, or enough of what you may need at a place. So yes, a nice hardware store would be a wonderful thing, but other than that, we really have not missed much of anything. If I were to give advice on someone thinking about moving to Panama, expect all new experiences, things you're not used to back home, wherever you're coming from. Life here in Panama is a little bit different. It works on its own time schedule. You'll learn the word mañana, you'll learn the word tranquilo, you'll learn certain things, and just patience is a good virtue here. However, if you take your time and enjoy the new adventures that you're coming across, you will smile and grow and benefit in ways that I don't know, I really feel like it's brought a whole new life to us.
And I would have to say, as far as advice goes, it's about attitude and being accepting of things are not going to be the way you're used to. I mean, isn't that why we're here? And people are just, if you give them the respect, you get a whole lot further with the Panamanian people. Instead of complaining about something that isn't just the way you wanted it, start with, I love this, and could you please do this, the thing that you're wanting, because they respond much more to that approach than someone that's disrespecting them on something that they feel they've put a lot into. And we've seen this over and over again with our neighbors. And taking a page out of that book is really beneficial.